What's up, Twitch? What's up, YouTube? There he goes. Up YouTube. There he
You're so
goes.
polite with your intros.
This
You should be like,
is
"What's up, motherfuckers?"
is Thursday. BrackCast number 79. We're on our way to 100. We've got Deji. We got me. And yeah, I thought a cool title for today's stream would be "Oh Come On, Old Yay Faithful." You know that song? Because it's kind of
Haha.
like religious, but it's more
Mm.
Catholic Christian. But then he made some anti-Semitic comments, so it was like kind of mad. Anyway, yeah, Yay is the topic this week. But yeah, DG, take it away. Why? What do you have to say about what's going on with Yay? Or if you want, fill in the people who haven't heard about it yet. What happened recently with Yay?
Okay, so what happened? What happened? Basically, um, Kanye's been in the news basically all week for losing a lot of partnership deals with brands due to some comments he made um,
On Twitter, right?
on an interview.
Oh, it was an
I think
interview?
on an interview,
Oh, okay.
maybe one interview or two interviews, and then comments on Twitter and perhaps like stuff he posted on Instagram. Even though I believe he was restricted from Instagram or something until just very recently, maybe even like yesterday. But basically, these comments. Now, I personally haven't watched the interview in full. I've seen little like random clips and stuff. But from what I've seen, these comments allude to the positions of power in the music industry, CEOs, heads of, these large corporations, and the fact that they are generally Jewish men. And Kanye has been making a point to, on these interviews, point out that a lot of these power structures are kind of, I don't know, like holding black people back, basically, in a sense. Um, and other things also alluding to the fact that like there's this large conspiracy of like Jewish powerful people behind the scenes, right?
Okay.
Um, and then I think he also made some comments about the George Floyd incident, talking about how like it was actually fentanyl that killed him and not the knee to the neck and something like that. So, um, yeah, Adidas. Who else? What's it called? Gap. I know they were on the fritz for a while, but that like already ended. But I'm pretty sure that's like completely severed now. Who else? Easy brands.
I
One
saw
sec.
Balenciaga was on there.
Balenciaga. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Vogue.
Do you,
So
do you
yeah,
know like his exact comments on that interview? Like exactly what he said?
I think the Twitter post, which she said, I'm going death con
Yeah.
on Jewish people, which is actually, I guess, from his end, like a typo. He meant to say
DEF CON.
DEF CON,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like a United States
It's like
missile air defense,
yeah. It's like a
thing.
military
So
status or state. Yeah.
basically, DEF CON is when like it's like we all gotta go. Like shit's real, like motherfuckers are attacking. Like we gotta have
Yeah.
all the missiles ready,
He wrote
basically.
it was supposed to be DEF
So
CON 3, but he wrote DEF CON 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
which did not help his case.
Yeah.
It's like death and Jewish people in the same tweet. Like just don't do that, man. um,
Yeah.
but
Especially
yeah,
with the
yo,
climate this year with the whole anti-Semitism kind of like outcry. Like it's definitely it's been hurting a lot of people, and I've known a lot of people in that community who are very emotionally affected by it too, like personally affected by like what they're hearing about their family and their friends, what's going on with them because of people who follow that anti-Semitic sentiment.
mm, yeah. So I just like I was reading all stuff, I think, on Wednesday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
because that's when I think that's when Adidas actually dropped him. And yeah, apparently now he's no longer a billionaire. He's only worth like 400 million.
Yeah.
Forbes also put out a statement saying that he dropped from their billionaire list.
Hmm.
So today he posted on Instagram stating, "Oh, I lost all my money, but my money's not who I am. I'm here for the love of the people," or something like that.
Hmm.
But I think my whole experience in all of this is like I still needed to understand kind of the context of what anti-Semitism was,
Hmm.
because I had it wrong because I thought like anti-Semitism meant like you wanted like Jewish people to like die or something, you know,
Okay.
um, or like you just like hate Jewish people,
Hmm.
but it's actually like more like just like false representation of like it includes like false representation of like how much power they have type thing and how much they control. That's actually also like a core seems to be a core definition of anti-Semitism. So I found that really interesting because like
Well,
I think
isn't it just hostility towards or prejudice against Jewish people? That's the more. That's like the actual definition.
yes, but I was reading a post from the Anti-Defamation League on like the actual history of anti-Semitism,
Yeah.
and the Anti-Defamation League for like viewers is like like, think of the double NAACP for like black people. It's basically like an organization of people that it's an organization that attempts to uh, monitor and like dispel any false narratives of Jewish people and stuff like that. But they basically also alluded specifically to the fact that in history, I'm going to pull up that document after this. In history,
Mm.
like there's been, uh, political, what's it called? Narratives that allude to the fact that Jewish people are taking all the jobs and are like controlling the economy, which which basically is what Kanye is alluding to in the music industry,
Yeah.
and how that led to like other people now targeting them, violently, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
So I
I
didn't know
see what
that.
you mean.
So
Okay.
I thought that was like, yeah, you know what I mean? So I thought that was like really interesting. But yeah, let me see if I can pull up that document.
Yeah. Once you
But
get
yeah,
it,
what are
get
your
send
guys'
me the
thoughts?
link. Tom, we're talking about Ye, his latest Kanye's latest news this week. You know, the big headlines are just a bunch of brands are dropping Kanye because of his comments on social media and interview Semitic views.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I actually didn't even dwell into it.
Yeah.
What did he say? Uh,
Well, the big thing I tried to look it up too is exact words. I didn't. Apparently, that interview was taken down, but the tweet that got everyone kind of like that really set people off was he wrote "Death Gone 3" to Jewish people.
oh, okay.
He wrote "Death Gone 3" to Jewish people. Yeah, and
Yeah, I had a left field on that one. Yeah, like just
and like okay, well, obviously there's two sides to kind of like how you can react to him. You know, my view on this is I've been seeing a lot more like I'm a sneakerhead, so I've been seeing a lot of the
yeah, okay,
reactions of
yeah.
sneakerheads and like fashion followers with Kanye who were really big fans of Kanye's shoes and Kanye's Gap line and the hype all around his fashion, and all of them are like shocked about it, and they're finding out the one of the later headlines this week was that Adidas will continue to sell the same designs, but they will remove the Yeezy brand. So they'll
That's so bullshit.
I
Does that even work?
honestly, okay, that's the general or overall reaction when people are hearing about it. Fans of Kanye. I'm a fan of the Yeezy line too, and I'm a fan of the his fashion kind of presence and how he's trying to break the rest of fashion presence with like how Europe is kind of dominating like fashion, high fashion anyway. But like, so Yeezys, let's just look at the shoe itself. there's not a lot of Yeezy branding on it, right? Yeah, he definitely, there was collaboration for sure in terms of like the design and the silhouette and like, you know, the actual look of the shoes and stuff. But he signed with Adidas and they collaborated, but in his contract, I don't know, you know, that's just kind of like, I think, you know, poor management there, but his contract didn't protect him in a scenario like this where they could just drop him like that and then he can't take his designs. Again, they're collaborations. Were they completely his designs or whatever like that? Maybe, but it wasn't under his contract. So Adidas, they're like, okay, we were gonna drop Kanye, but we already created all this inventory. You know,
Yeah.
people already like the shoe, and there's not a lot of actual, besides Yeezy's affiliation with the design, because everyone recognizes it as a Yeezy. There's again not a lot of branding towards it. So, what the only branding actually a lot is just in the insole. So if
Who owns the brand?
Adidas,
Adidas owns the. Is it Yee? Or
Yeezy, Yeezy.
He owns the Yeezy. Adidas owns the Yeezy brand.
Well,
So he's like,
I guess because if Adidas can drop him and then still
I
take the
believe so.
design, yeah, it clearly the contract has it that Adidas owns it. The only thing apparently that Yeezy that Ye owned was the slides, the Yeezy slides, the slippers. He can keep
Yeah.
that design. They can't sell those. But yeah, everything else that they've already been selling for like the past how many years, they can continue making them and they can continue selling them. And so the sneakerheads that I've been watching, they're like, I think that's like a backhanded, how dare they, like I don't think they should do that. I understand like the emotional appeal of that reaction. But like if you're Adidas, what are you going to do? Like do you really think they'll be like, okay, fine, we'll just lose money on this because he ran his mouth again, ill-advised and like uneducated.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like obviously they're gonna.
Maybe-
Their bottom line is make the money. They've already spent the money on the inventory.
Mhm.
They already have a following of people who love the shoe. If they're gonna, here's the thing. Only thing I can see, which is I think benefit to the consumer. If you drop Ye, then Ye is no longer affiliated with the design. Therefore, the hype with the price tag of that design shouldn't be as high. So I think the price point will drop on all Yeezys and all
should.
that stuff. All of that will go down. Not to the crazy point where it's going to be affordable to everyone, but it's going to drop, like, because that was part of why it was such in demand, because it's associated with Kanye. But now that it's not associated with Kanye,
Yeah.
you can't charge that price tag anymore, you know?
And like, would people still buy it?
That's the thing.
Because it's still the Yeezy, but is it?
Yeah, but
Are
here's
they?
the thing. Even anyone who bought it now, you can't look at it and be like, well, first of all, is it authentic? Is it fake? But then now, if you were to buy one 5 years ago and you buy one today, and then they take out the Yeezy branding, you can't tell the difference because it's only inside the sole that has the actual brand. So, like,
Okay.
to anyone else who's ever wanted them, they're just getting a discount now, or they would be. This is my hype. This is my idea that Adidas will drop the price.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so basically, essentially, it's the same product, same material, same everything,
Mhm.
right? They're not. Nothing changes about the shoe. In
I wouldn't cop that shit.
they're just gonna pull out the insole that has Yeezy on it and replace it with an
Yeah.
Adidas one.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Kanye here, so
Okay.
to me, nothing surprises what he says
So-
about anything.
Deji, your reaction is you wouldn't cop him, right? But you wouldn't.
Hell no.
But you wouldn't cop him when Kanye was fine too,
I would have copped them.
if they were affordable.
Well, like, that's the thing, right? Very particular with, like, you know the type of shoes that I wear.
Yeah.
So he would have to come out with like a colorway and like a design that would have been like really appealing to me. Like, I thought they were interesting shoes, but not interesting enough to wear,
Okay.
you know?
I was a fan.
But I heard that they're super comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and I heard that about Uggs too, but I just haven't like
No, Uggs.
found a nice pair that I'm like, I'll wear those.
Don't do the Uggs. That's yeah. Yeezy actually has tech in it. But anyway, like
Yeah,
I for anyone's like who's angry at Adidas for continuing, I don't think they have any reason to be angry. It wasn't Adidas' fault that Kanye said those things. Kanye said those things, so Adidas had to react. Politically correct, I guess. What would you do? What would you just say?
Well, they actually they were under immense pressure from the Anti-Defamation League as well,
Yeah, makes sense.
which I found interesting because like Adidas is a German brand, right?
Yeah, but just
Well,
also like in just
yeah,
banks,
exactly.
like
Yeah,
just
figured
where
it.
the money is, like where the majority of the money
Yeah.
is, like you don't want to
Money talk.
upset the banks. First, one of the
Maybe he
first
did it
things
on
I
purpose.
heard, no, actually before Adidas dropped Yeezy, Chase, was it Chase or his was it one of the banks that he had his Yeezy like financial like
Now,
accounts associated with JP Morgan. I
Mhm.
think it was JP Morgan. Kicked him
one of the
out.
big
Okay.
ones.
They closed his account. Like, nah, you can't have an account with us anymore. So that's where it started, and then
Mm.
the other because yeah, that's heavily influenced Jewish. What do you okay? I'm a little all over the place. So I understand why brands are doing it. It's all in the face of social media. You gotta appeal to like what group think and like politically correct what people expect of these brands to do. They're just doing what
Yeah,
they.
I mean, it's not uncommon. Like, I mean, look what happened to Tiger Woods.
Now, what if they didn't do that? What would be what would be the backlash on Adidas or Gap if they didn't drop Ye? What do you think would happen?
probably the same. Nothing really. Nothing.
Probably nothing really.
Right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it really hit him any worse.
I don't think anything would really happen to because I feel like they would lose more market value now that he's no longer associated with them.
By dropping him, yeah.
You know? Yeah. So like, ain't nobody copping those shoes.
Okay.
Um,
So first, you would have probably some, you know, how do you call them? Justice type of warrior people who would be like, boycott Adidas, they won't drop Ye. Boycott Gap, they won't.
Like, look at Netflix and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, but right. But they won't. Like all the lovers of Yeezy and all the Gap people, whatever, they'd still buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But they did
I
it
think so.
because I don't think it was the crowd, the world that influenced. It's the money. Yeah. It's somewhere above Adidas. They're like, all right, the banks. We have accounts with these banks, and if Kanye's saying this and they're not happy about that, well, we don't want to affect our relationship with our banks. So it's like, makes
Isn't
sense.
that
It's
financial-
business sense.
yeah.
You know, like why would you choose? You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Oh no, yeah, I get it.
Real
get
money,
it, you know,
hard to
especially-
give up.
Yeah, it's like
And
I-
at the end
I-
of the day, when you make money, you're pissing somebody off anyway.
Yeah.
I think so, right? That you're pissing off somebody, competition, whatever.
So here's okay.
So
So we get it. We get the
So-
business side. Sorry, go ahead, Deji. Go ahead before I move on.
yeah, I was just gonna say like just real quick. You hear that phrase? There's no permanent friends or enemies in business, right? Which is why like I kind of respect what Skechers did because like he went to their office today with a camera crew and then they escorted him out with security and then they put out a statement saying we will not ever work with Kanye and we do not support blah 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 blah. So like if Skechers had invited him in, if they had been working together, their stock would have probably shot through the roof, right? But they did that
Only in
knowing
public.
that they were losing.
Only to the public. But again, where's the money? Like who's
Well, like, I
Skechers
mean, they
bank
put out
accounts with? Like maybe you know what I mean? Like where's their money?
everybody likes money. Yeah,
And then who are the top banks? You know, like like okay, Day
this will
saying
probably
something.
blow over in like I don't know, 90 days.
Yeah, it says
this is
Day
what-
saying here, for context, Adidas is actually losing a ton of revenue by dropping Ye. I'd imagine them continuing to sell the design to take what they can get. Those who are mad at Adidas don't really understand that part. Adidas' total losses from its severing of ties with West
Forward.
is 645 million, with the 247 million loss of sales this year stated by the company, and the $400 million in lost 2023 revenue forecast by Bernstein. This is Kanye's tweet cost Adidas 600 plus million. Nah, dude,
That's
that
crazy.
those are both I think projected. Like I
that's Hilarious.
It's not the tweet, it's them dropping him. It's not his tweet. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to drop him. We were just talking about that now. But if they didn't drop him, the repercussions on the higher end probably would have been worse than
You think so?
well, 600 million versus $1 billion account. Like Ye isn't Adidas, you know. Ye didn't make Adidas.
How long?
Yeah,
have
but
you
what's the
spent-
last Adidas thing that like that's the only thing that like people care about these days when they hear Adidas. Like nobody else like
That's not true.
Yeah,
because
like,
Nike has like all
Adidas
this other
Adidas still has their NBA
Oh,
and
well, yeah.
NBA stars. Adidas still has soccer stars. Like Adidas is still with Messi, you know.
Okay.
Nike is
Adidas
Cristiano
still on the
Ronaldo,
jersey,
but like,
right?
what?
It's still on the jerseys.
Yeah, they still make. They have like certain contracts with like different sports that they support jerseys. They have their shit ton of other things besides Ye. You know, like Pharrell had his own
I
thing,
guess-
but like Pharrell didn't really last as big as Ye.
Oh, yeah,
NMDs and stuff. Pharrell had his own.
So like a guy
just-
like Kanye, so is he racist then?
Okay, no.
I mean, is that-
So this is okay. Let's look at the other side now.
That's the nuance.
We get the business side. Now let's look at Ye, which we've already kind of talked about in the past. Actually, it was more in the context of like Will Smith.
Yeah.
How he's
I
just like
saw it.
he's got issues. Like he's got some issues up here, right? Like
Sure.
first of all, he could have easily explained what he meant with his tweet. He could have also come out to public and explain what his interview meant, why he's so angry. Like we
This
all
was on
we all know,
This.
yeah, he's so angry at like the higher ups that have that made it difficult for him to come up in the fashion industry, in the music industry, and yeah, he definitely believes that like just like in the movie industry too, the Weinsteins and like everything with the Steens at the end, they have some like they have some pretty strong hold on the industry, and he understands that it's keeping him from where he wants to go. He's very ambitious.
See, the way you just mentioned that,
Yeah.
that sounds like a bunch of other talk by other people that we've been hearing all the time. The rich white man, and it's not just coming from Kanye.
Oh yeah, I totally believe Kanye's seen it firsthand, like up close
Sure.
and personal. Like he's dealt with
Yeah.
it in his face. So he's angry. He's angry, and he doesn't deal with his anger very well. He's not very politically correct in his response. Kanye's
Yeah.
shoes were only 10% of their market. Big chunk, but it's not their whole business. This is another comment from Flipstar. So yeah, like Ye's been silent. Ye hasn't, I don't think he's the type of person who's gonna try and like politically explain himself and make him politically correct of what he actually meant with his tweet or what he actually meant in his interview. We all understand how frustrated he is in terms of like his barriers to entry and his his ambitions. But that's it. But he made
But
something.
isn't that the whole thing that you're just saying though? Like, I mean, you always hear people complaining about black people not getting their fair shake because of the rich,
Yeah.
white people do it.
But he
Mhm.
well
Always from the other side.
it's always
right?
about like it's all about like like the white privilege that's keeping black.
Exactly. So
But
why-
he's being very specific that they're Jewish. Like he made specific like direction that it's Jewish people.
I don't know. Like, I mean, Jewish.
And the problem with that is a lot of Jewish powers have a lot of money.
Well, they do, but
Yeah,
but
that's-
you always hear let's say the other people out there, like you said, that shit wars. They don't like they tax the rich. Rich white people got to go. You always hear that, and everyone's okay with it,
That's a really good point by
Yeah, I was
right? You hear it from the political angle now that you brought it up. It's like you hear that nowadays from a certain party, like white privilege, rich white people got to go. They make all the money, and all the minorities don't. So like now you hear a minority say the same thing. I just saw it. He just says DEFCON 3. Is that the tweet?
That's the tweet.
Okay.
That came after the
I
interview.
don't know what that means. It's very, but I know one thing. He won't get banned on Twitter now that.
Oh, Musk got it.
Elon.
Yeah.
So,
So, just
yeah.
read out the comments. They're
Like,
saying
what-
here,
yeah.
Dede said exactly if they didn't drop him, potentially much more damage than just 10%. That's what I was saying. And then Flipstar says, yeah, mental illness. Kanye said black slavery was a choice. He did say that too during the whole MAGA thing. Remember that?
black slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
What the? I don't
Okay,
even
well
know.
look at how big. Okay, when I look at like a similar kind of a setup, you know, entrepreneur like rapper made businessman, entrepreneur made mogul, business mogul. I look at Jay-Z too and Puff Daddy, right? Like the and then you look at Kanye. But there's a difference. You're like, yeah, they both kind of use the music industry to make a name for themselves and make their popularity, get into fashion industry. Business, I'd say Jay-Z kind of backed off the fashion industry eventually. You know what I mean? Like he had Rockaware. Puff Daddy had, what did Puff Daddy have?
Sean John.
Sean John.
Oh, Sean
And they all
John,
back off
okay.
eventually because they couldn't break it. Kanye didn't back off, and that's fine. The thing is, Kanye doesn't have as much, I think, of that, like, you know, professional business sense that like someone
He
like
doesn't.
Jay-Z or Puff Daddy would have. You know what I mean? So it's
Maybe he
like,
wants
It's
it.
been a
Maybe he wants
that's
this.
been like a clear distinction for both of them for decades.
Yeah.
But Kanye himself has highlighted that.
Maybe the guy that this is exactly what he wants and he don't give a shit.
yeah,
I remember I was watching this Irv Gotti interview, and he said this shit about Hove that I thought was so hard. He was like, I was trying to get this business deal done, and I brought Jay-Z with me. Yo, let me give you a piece of advice. If you ever want to close a business deal, just bring Jay-Z with you, because they were like also excited to see him because he's just so cool.
Yeah.
Just like,
Like,
Yeah.
do you think a guy
And
like
Kanye's
Kanye
like-
will have the potential to still make more money even after this whole thing?
yay.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I think he'll still make
He'll
a
figure
lot
out
of
a
money.
way.
Well,
That's what
I
I
do
figure out
think
a way.
someone will take him. Not right now.
Well, yeah.
Not right now. He's gonna make some public statement eventually.
Sure.
If he decides to go to therapy and get some kind of like something to calm him down, maybe meds will help him calm down too. But he's definitely like, he's every step of his like career is crazy. Like it's such a big difference from the previous step, right? Like even the evolution of his music and the evolution of his like relationships and his clothes, and now like he was supposed to go. Didn't he say like at first he thought he was like God, and then he eventually became humble and he was like all about God, and he was gonna do it. He was gonna make music for God, and then I think he lost that too when he started trying to run for president, and he started to think that he could be president. Then he was God again, or something like that.
By the way, just like, because I keep hearing this thing, and I guess this is why I like to always highlight nuance. Kanye actually never said verbatim slavery was a choice.
Okay.
He said, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, ... for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. You were there for 400 years and it's all of y'all. It's like we were mentally imprisoned. Saying, it's like that same thing we hear about the elephant when it's a little elephant and they tie it to a gate and they leave it tied up, even though like for like a decade, it has the freedom and the strength to break through as it's eventually getting bigger.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like a full-size element. It's still tied to that gate. That's basically what he was saying. But like, everyone just heard slavery was a choice.
Right.
But anyway,
That's okay. That's a good explanation. I think that's fair that you phrased it that way. It wasn't just like blanket statement like that, right?
yeah,
Now-
which is crazy because literally all you hear or see is slavery was a choice.
Right. Because it's
But
it's a
anyway,
headline.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a headline. But you look at like his when he jumped
The people.
when he jumped on the bandwagon with MAGA, right, with like Trump and like Make America Great Again, and he was now he's making friends with, the white people, right? And he was on his political come up that way too. Didn't really like serve him that well because a lot of the Trump supporters
Nope.
probably would never support him. But he made that as a business political choice. But at that point, I think he felt like he could maybe associate and even be empowered with some white support. But now he's on the other side again, where he feels like there's still people. Whenever he thinks something's in his way, he lashes out like this.
Yeah, like I mean, it seems like
Yeah.
this is kind of what he wants to do. I think it could be in his head too, right? He may be just crazy, but it's obviously like give it another year or two, he'll be in the middle of something else, and he's probably still made money along the fucking way, unless he's dead.
Well, yeah, they say in terms of like cash, he's got like maybe 100 million, and then he doesn't really have. He's still a millionaire, you know. He's still,
Fuck,
Damn, son.
But-
Still balling.
yeah, fuck, I wish I could win $1 million.
but he's just not. He's just not 4 billion. He's not worth 3 or
I
4
know,
billion
but, like,
anymore.
I mean, like people saying, well, he's only got and if there's $1 million, I'm like, well, who cares? Yeah, I mean, the fuck. I wish people would say to me, man, no, Tom's only worth $1 million. Like, fuck.
Day Day says he went from 2 billion to 400 million, and that's still top 1%.
Yeah, right.
That's
Like, I mean, how many
crazy.
people
Yeah, I
make
heard-
that kind of money, right? Like,
I heard Zuckerberg.
it's not like it's liquid cash. It's wherever, right? It's not actual liquid cash, so it could go up again. He can come up with some design again in another
Tell me though. Tell me. Here's a question though.
year.
2 billion down to 400 million, right?
That's crazy.
But Adidas
Kill yourself.
is losing 645 million. So
A day.
That's crazy.
that's in
Mark
like
Zuckerberg
in,
lost 100 billion.
Well, do you remember Elon Musk lost how many hundreds of millions a couple months ago? People saying that he's
Yo.
going broke.
No, but
And-
like,
and
how does that
that's-
math work? If it's worth 2 billion and you're taking out 645 million, where's the other billion?
Well, a lot of it is not actual liquid cash, right?
No, but what did he
This
lose?
is sound.
It's not Gap. Gap's not giving him $1 billion. You know, Gap's not 500 million, 600 million. Like,
Now, would you say that these numbers are somewhat rough estimates? Because do you
Ridiculous.
know how much someone really
he
has?
still has his music. I don't get it. Does he not have any worth with his
Catalog?
With his yeah.
I don't know if he does, right? Because all his music contracts were all fucked up.
Like,
Remember that whole like
He was on his own.
He doesn't own it
stream on
either?
Twitter where he just posted all his contracts and they were all fucked up.
Oh yeah, like yeah. That's what I mean. Like his awareness, I guess, of like even how Adidas can just drop him like that. Like, you didn't think there was a contract that would protect someone from just being able to do that? There's a clause in there that's like, yeah, if you run your mouth on Twitter, we have the right to drop you. It's like, like you didn't read that fine print or whatever. Like,
Maybe there wasn't a clause and they said we'll pay the fine. We know how breaking a contract. There's probably shit like that. Like we'll just pay it. Fuck it. Pay to break it. There's shit like that too. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna
Mark
cost $100
Zuckerberg.
million, but like it'll probably be easier to lose that 100 million now breaking this contract than fucking try to, leave them on and deal with it. You could break contracts in so many ways.
I just want to share what Deji sent here, the link to a brief history of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism refers to prejudice and or discrimination against Jews as individuals and as a group. It's based on stereotypes and myths that target Jews as a people, their religious practices and beliefs, and Jewish state of Israel. Historically, what began as a conflict over religious beliefs evolved into a systematic policy of political, economic, and social isolation, exclusion, degradation, and attempted annihilation. It did not begin in the Nazi era, nor did it end with the close of World War II. Its continuance over the millennia speaks to the power of scapegoating a group that is defined as the other. I still don't quite see... Oh, modern anti-Semitism. Is that it?
It might be in there. Hold on. Let me look on that side.
I
Got
mean,
it open here.
Like, if you think about what Germany was doing in World War II, they weren't threatened by the Jews. Were they?
Economically, I thought that was the kind of the
I wanted
whole
to destroy that
the
economy.
catalyst for that.
It was like, I think they did have an upper hand in almost a lot of Western civilization type, business, whatever, which they somehow earned and did it right over this, like you said, over this millennia. So
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So like I'm sure Kanye saying something about Jews ain't the first time you've heard someone say something about Jews, because I hear people say shit about Jews all the time, and you can hear it in the news when it comes to, like you said, the state of Israel. What's going on in the state of Israel right now? Always Palestine, Palestine, Palestine. So are those guys, you know, Semites too? But no one wants to say anything because you know people here now saying you got to back the Palestinians, but then, you know, like, right? There's still a war going on in Palestine, and that's a whole country that hates Israel. They're enemies all around them, and there's people here in this country that support them, and in the states.
The hashtag Free Palestine, would that be considered an anti-Semitic hashtag?
Should, right? Technically.
Interesting.
Right? Like, I mean, Weezy just said it DEFCON 3 to the Jews, but guaranteed, you go look right now, right? There's people saying that Israel should be annihilated. And there's people that live in Canada and US that are pro-Palestinian. We'll just use it as an example, right? So are those guys Islam or anti-Semites?
Well, that's
no one wants to talk about
that's the thing. Like, obviously,
I don't know what DEFCON 3 is. Is that I mean, is it up to 5?
Yeah, it's up to 5.
So that's in the middle.
Three is like when you release like air.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Like airplanes can now attack or something.
Okay.
But anyway, okay. For
Defense readiness condition. DEFCON is an alert state used by the United States Armed Forces.
Okay.
I just think Ye was obviously angry at a specific set of people who most likely are Jewish. Okay, and that's why he's making these comments.
Okay.
Does he mean it about all Jewish people? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like,
not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like those crazy, as you said, people who want to annihilate the Jew, like
Gibson.
all of Jewish. Is he like that? Is he?
Bro, what?
I don't know. Did I?
Yo, his like.
Was that the drunken rant?
Yo, he went crazy, and he just won like 6 Oscars. So I mean, everybody else gets the same energy.
Really?
Did he do a Jewish movie?
No, he did Passion of the Christ. That was super Catholic.
Passion of the Christ.
He did the most Catholic movie
like,
you could do.
That.
Yeah.
I gotta fix that.
You said it right there, Noy. Like, does he want to annihilate the whole thing? I don't think so.
No, it has nothing to do actually with anti-Semitism. He made a comment that mentioned Jewish, and people associate that word Jewish with anti-Semitism. His attack was anti-Semitism, but it's not. He's just angry at a very specific set of people who are likely Jewish.
Hey, man, like,
you know what I mean?
You've had podcasts on here, and there's people right now in the U.S. Congress, part of the squad, who are so against Israel, and no one seems to care. And there's an election going on now, so I mean, it's around, right? I mean, I think, but the one thing I will say about Weezy is that he's just proving that he's hitting on everybody. Guess you don't like Jews, you don't like Black Lives Matter. Pretty soon he's going to go against who else next, right? So he's just hating on everybody.
He just hates on anyone who doesn't align with what he wants.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, right? He doesn't like, and he's black, so I guess he's trying to take advantage of that black people can't be racist thing. I don't, because you hear that a lot. Too,
well, look at
right?
it.
You hear that black people can't be racist, but apparently only Kanye can.
Do you think maybe because it's a tweet? He said some stupid shit in the past too. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody has.
Like he's been interviewed in Fox. I saw this kind of like brief summary interview where he's talking about Obama, how Obama was a puppet, like he was basically the mascot. They just needed a guy of color to be the mascot, so then it could like pose as like he's with the people. But eventually, still, he did a bunch of shit that was like not helpful to his people or whatever. He says a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Do you think it didn't really matter what he said or when he said, but like these companies were just looking for reasons? They just needed a reason to be able to drop him.
Maybe.
Or,
yeah, that's
like.
I mean, it's not too long ago where Kanye was on stage showing George Bush hates black people when there was the fucking floods, right?
Okay.
With him on stage with Mike Myers, and everyone was all for him then, George Bush hates black people because he's not out there. And Mike Myers was just going, oh, fuck.
I remember. I remember.
Right? Yeah. So that was the first. So, like, this guy's
I remember that.
Right? And everyone didn't care then.
No, it was as George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's what the comment was.
It fitted their narrative. Now he's like, so I guarantee you, just at this rate, and that was like, holy shit, like 20 It's how long ago was that now?
Yeah.
So he's always been that guy. Always been that guy.
Yo. So okay, let me send you this. Let me send you this article. So this article is from Variety, and it talks about like Mel Gibson and his like history of like violent, racial, anti-Semitic comments,
Okay.
and like how basically nothing's really happened to him. You know, and there's a particular sentence right here where it says, "Some people can get away with things, and some people can't." Bragman adds, and maybe because they make a lot of money for some people, or maybe because they're likable. Everyone in Hollywood has a different DNA, and there's no set of rules. Two people may do the exact same thing, and one may lose their career, and one may go on and be just fine. I'll send that to you right now.
Yeah. So Mel
Yeah, I'll
Gibson.
post it in the link.
He had a drunken rage and talking on the phone, right? It got recorded. Is that the one?
Oh, right. No, that's not referring to the same thing with.
Well, was he talking
But
about Jews on that one?
it was he was angry with his like girlfriend or something.
Oh,
Or
women. So yeah,
something
see, so
about
he,
tickets.
Yeah,
Like
he was-
he was getting
Yeah.
mad about tickets and like
Dropping mad N bombs.
yeah. So like,
He just won 6 Oscars.
but
Just putting that out there.
look at though his persona throughout his whole career though is just like he was a lovable, like main character guy, lead guy. Plus he's white, you know. Like he was like a heartthrob for a long time as well. So it's like to taint that kind of image or that persona was gonna take a lot. And yeah,
Yeah.
he was even
I
part of
mean,
Scientology and all that stuff too, wasn't he? But like,
I mean, people change, especially in this day and age now, where now you have everybody chiming in.
so
I mean-
I think Kanye's just in another one of those like spirals. He's been in spirals before, and somehow even after his spirals, he ends up still continuing. You know, Gap picked him up after. Like Gap picked him up after all his other spirals, if you think about it.
Yeah, and is this true about the Gap that it was founded by gay guys? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, like in San Francisco, right? Is that where Gap came from? San Francisco, and it stands for gay and proud. Is that? I don't know if that's true or not. But I mean, you can't please everybody, and someone will always try to make money off you. I think
That's
if you have the
funny.
power to make the money,
That's the origin story. That's funny.
right?
You link
Okay.
you link the same thing twice, Deji.
Oh shit, son, my bad.
Just
Yo,
saying, just
what's
saying.
up?
Like I think there's someone that's always gonna say, "Well, we could make money off this guy." Like you said, he's not
Okay.
that time hasn't come up yet that he's gonna not just be broke or
So what do you think is like the reparation for this? Like what is the best case scenario for everyone? Is
reparation.
Yeah. Like how do you fix this situation? Let's say Adidas wants to minimize loss, Gap wants to minimize loss, and Ye wants to not lose all his wealth. What is the best case scenario that's gonna fix this? What do you think?
Nothing.
Make a sex tape. Make another sex tape with Kim.
No, do you think a public apology, a Kanye public apology would do something?
He never apologizes.
Yeah, he wouldn't apologize. I
No.
feel like if he apologized,
People think he was.
he would
funny.
actually lose a lot more respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what a chicken.
But how many people do you think actually respect him? A lot of people love
of
his
people.
music. A lot of people love his music
I
and
like
his come up.
outfit.
Like, and I like that documentary about like Ye's come up too, like Yeezy in Netflix. Yeah, but like who he's been as a person in the last 10 years. Really? Like,
It's been a while.
do you think there's a lot of respect there, or is it more really like just?
I mean,
I think it's all
It's-
face,
this is the
man.
thing,
It's
he's
all
polarizing.
face.
this is what I find with Ye.
Controversial
He's very
figures.
polarizing.
Controversial figures
You-
always tend to make the most, or make the noise, right?
Yeah, because you really find people that are just kind of like, it's either like people like hate him or like they like support him and like have empathy. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So-
the word that I'm curious about. Support. Like, I don't think anyone would stand behind him.
I don't know about
I think people still stand behind him.
people stand behind him because there's a lot of normal,
Like he's-
normal people out
Standing
there. that
behind
would agree
someone
with him.
requires you to have trust in their leadership. I don't think anyone has trust in this guy's leadership.
Leadership for what?
Anything. Like, as you just said, standing behind somebody requires you
Yeah.
to believe that they will lead
The
you,
Gap did. Apparently
right?
the Gap does.
Well, no, they didn't stand. No. So see, Adidas doesn't stand behind Ye. Gap doesn't
Yeah.
stand behind Ye. They collaborate with him because they know he has not supporters, but he has fans who
but
will spend money,
so what is,
but they're not
see it.
they're not
So
supporting him. They're using him for
sure,
profit.
whatever. But so what's worse?
No, what do you mean worse? I'm just saying. No,
So
no, no.
you'd
Like,
rather
but Ye's getting
so you
money.
have no
Ye's getting
problem
his
with
piece
someone
too,
using somebody. You have no problem with a company using someone for their money.
right?
You would have a problem with someone saying, "Oh, I back Kanye West stuff,"
Yeah.
and no money involved.
But like, you mean I would have a problem with it?
Like, do you think people would like? I think at the end of the day, like people forget about shit when it comes down to money.
I think
So
no. Any business partnership with Kanye was never about you like looking at his views and him as a person and thinking, wow, that's some guy I respect and want to be a part of my brand. Nah, it's wow, this guy's got how many fans because of his music and how many people who love him who know him. That is publicity that if we partner with him, he's gonna bring all of those fans over to buy our stuff. It's never been about, oh, we believe in him and we want to, like, come on, like,
if Kanye
Oh,
was
wait,
if Kanye West was a white man who said all that shit and then fucking, making all that money. He's a white man this time, making all that money, but then the Gap did the same thing. Wouldn't that piss more people off?
well, I don't. It doesn't mean I don't even care if anyone's pissed about it. I'm just stating like reality. Like,
Yeah, the reality is
you
is
can't
people
actually
leave-
believe that Adidas supported Kanye,
Yeah, but who cares?
or
Now,
like
at
the
this point,
music industry supported
much-
Kanye.
so
You know,
it doesn't even matter.
remember Yeezy, Ye
Well,
wanted to battle Gucci and like Louis Vuitton and like Dolce, and he wanted to be up in high tier like that. And
Sure.
so he thought
Yeah.
he would start that with Yeezy, but then
Yep.
he was gonna do it on his own. Then he partners with Adidas, which I think was a
Yep.
smart idea for Adidas. Was it a smart idea for Kanye? Gap then partners with Kanye. Was it a good partnership for Kanye? I don't think so. Was it a good partnership for Gap? Yeah, like like it's just business sense. I don't see anyone thinking, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be a really good spokesperson, role model for our brand." No, no one's ever gonna say that about that guy.
Yeah, like he can say whatever they want. Like, I don't think even people have to listen half the time. If this guy can make his money, fuck it.
Exactly. So
Yeah, like, do people respect him? Who cares? I don't even know.
yeah, I was gonna say like, because your question, I had it like mixed up a little bit because I thought you just were talking about people. You're talking specifically about corporations though, and I don't think like
even his fan
any
base.
corporation would truly support him. His fan base is different, man.
You think they'd vote
fan
him?
base guy, a college dropout,
Okay.
late registration. They got history.
Did he? Yeah, but did he? He ran for president, didn't he?
No.
Yeah, but his fan base does not make up the demographic of America.
I didn't say he
That's-
became pres, but did anyone vote for him?
No, he didn't. No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
so that's to that point. That's what I mean, right? Like, because like you're a fan of his music doesn't. That's still you still have to. He's still trying to be the president of America.
Okay,
which
so
is-
fan
a
of
lot
his
them are
music,
not his fan.
fan of his music. But what do you mean by support then? What do you mean by support?
That's what I was trying to understand from your question, because you said, do you think anyone would support him now? And I thought you were talking about just in general, which would include his fan base, which the answer would be yes, because I see it on Twitter. I saw it in his comments today.
Yeah.
But you were mostly talking about like brands like Adidas. None of them are going to really support him. They just wanted him for his
Right.
publicity, star power, etc.
But even if you're gonna take it just to like his fan base for his music, they like his music. Music sounds good. Maybe his lyrics appeals to them or whatever. But when I don't know, maybe it's the way I define the word support. But when you associate support, there's like a personal attachment where you're going to like lift up this guy. And I don't see that
Yeah.
even in his music people, like his music fans, where they're gonna be like, yeah, I believe in Ye, I love his music, so therefore I'm gonna be part of the his support system that lifts him up.
Well,
I don't see it.
On Twitter and on Instagram, there's like hundreds of comments just like the one you're describing, basically. Because it's like, I think past the music too, because people understand this guy as a person, right? They understand he's very flawed, and he's actually quite on brand with what he's doing right now, because he has not changed this behavior since we've heard of this guy. He's always been crazy. So I think if this was the first time he was doing something like this, people might be like, what the fuck? But I think because he's basically like that one family member that you just know, like, yo, this person's like fucked, but I still love him, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that exists for Kanye, and like that is a very real support for him.
I see that
you
as
know?
empathy and sympathy. I guess, yeah, it is the way I'm defining support. Because, yeah, you could be supportive, someone who's trying to, like, I guess, make it or survive, or someone who maybe is trying to better themselves. Kanye's trying to better himself in the only way he understands it, and it's only in his head. No one kind of understands what he's trying to do with himself, right? But like,
Yeah.
again, like role model, like what we can respect Kanye for his ambition, for his drive, and like his hunger to get what he wants. But everything else that came, anytime that came with to like making an actual rational decision, probably don't. You know?
Well, yeah, and I'm not trying to be like the Kanye like caper here, but I guess too, like, I work with a lot of creatives that have a very ingrained like relationship with his influence and their creativity.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a beyond. It's multi-layered. You know, it's like the music thing is there, and then the like creative insanity thing is there,
Yeah.
and then like his just the rants and the shit that he just says, which is quite thought provoking and usually polarizing, because it's like, okay, this is profound, but it's also madness. Like, he has moments where, you know, both of those things exist, right? So it's
Okay. Can I?
it's a lot of layers, you know.
And I know you're not being the Kanye caper, and you're speaking kind of on behalf of the people that you know who would probably be more on board with supporting him. But like you saying, he's polarizing, and what was the other one before that? Uh, thought provoking, like
Yeah.
okay, so
Instigator.
like depth. So has that ever occurred to you where he said something that where you were like, damn? And then how much of an impact did that actually make?
Well, I mean, okay, if we're gonna use a specific example, I guess I'm just thinking this because it just came up in the chat. The whole slavery was a choice thing, right? Because at first I didn't understand,
What he was trying to say.
because I that was the first sentence I saw. Slavery was a choice, so I didn't understand, like, okay, did he actually say this, and why did he say this? Because that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But then watching the interview, you listen, okay, a group of people were enslaved for 400 years and nobody did anything about it. That sounds like a choice. So when he says it like that, I actually get what he's trying to say.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
using the analogy I told
Yeah.
you, right? So like, oh, that's that's a way of thinking that I didn't have before I heard this.
Do you
know?
think in the manner that he based his mindset on that, right? Like even with your analogy, 400 years, did anybody try anything? Did he not consider that?
And okay, let me use another example.
Okay.
Hate is alternative energy. That when I heard him say that, that like gave me fuel for like a month. I went crazy because I was like going through a period in time where I just felt like nobody nobody was like supporting my shit, and like I was just kind of like trying to get people to like help me out with stuff, and like people were actually like not fucking with me. So it was just in this interview where he's just like, yeah, hate is like alternative energy. Like, you got to use it and like use it to motivate you. Even though people have said similar stuff like that before,
Right.
just to provide you an example, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh shit. So
Okay. Yeah. No, it was it's inspirational. Like even the choice of words, as you're right though, the sentiment can be probably equated to a lot of other ways to say it. But
Mhm.
yeah, something resonated with you with the way he said it there. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, he can have the moments and he has good lines. He has good bars sometimes too, and like we respected him for that too. He's a lyricist, right? And yeah, but I'm looking at him as a character, as a person, as like a role model, as someone you if anyone's growing up, anyone, and it's just the unlikelihood that everyone's gonna be like, you know what? I want you to grow up like Kanye. Like I want you to be like Kanye. Like there's not gonna be like someone's gonna say, model your life to be like him. You can do things like the way he did certain things, but you can never take him as a whole and and use him as a role model and use him as like an example to be a complete example. You can't.
Why not though?
Because it's so easy to say why not. Like we know why not. Like
What I'm saying, like we live in a world right now where there's other people who have done fucking nothing, and then trying to make.
Look at Trump. Trump is mad people's role models, and that motherfucker.
That's the neon, you know, like George.
Huh?
He actually became president.
No, like you know, everyone's they're trying to make. They put up statues of Floyd George, right, is a model for some people now.
Oh, you're talking about
Oh, George Floyd.
George
What'd I
Floyd.
say?
There it is.
Right?
Yeah, Floyd.
That's a model now for some people.
No,
And
no, it's
and they go
not.
like-
It's
but they put up statues of this guy.
so. Do you think that means when people are raising their kids, I want you to be like that guy? That's not the same thing.
I think there's a popular saying like
It's not the same thing, dude. It's not the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You can idolize someone. You can make a statue of somebody who died for something, but it doesn't mean his life was something you want to live. You want to model your life to be. He died. He kind of like
Yes.
he was a martyr, but it had nothing to
I
do with
think
the way he
there's
lived his
someone out
life.
there- for sure, there's someone out there saying, "Yeah, be like Kanye." Why not?
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
believe it.
I-
I can't
You don't
believe
think
it.
so?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because he's too unstable. It's like
What do you mean, like, but
as
But
a
he's got
whole.
money and
I
good
said
taste.
as a whole. If there's a new artist and he's like, you know what, you should follow your like artistic career as a rapper like Kanye did. That I'll believe. That I'll believe.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But that's
Yeah,
not what I'm
so-
saying. I said as a whole, you should be like Kanye. No one's ever gonna say that. Like,
I don't know if you could say that about as a whole about anybody. Like, what about Tiger Woods?
no,
Man,
you're never. You're
Yes,
definitely
that
not
was
gonna.
kind of my point.
You're not gonna say it like Tiger. No, you're not gonna be like Tiger either.
Yeah,
No. But people would say that about Kobe. People would say that about Kobe in many regard, not just as a basketball player or as a father or as a businessman or as a. He's a
a
whole.
cheater.
He was a.
so, you know, but
Yeah,
No,
he's a
it's
cheater, but people are still gonna say you should
People
be
thought
like.
he was an asshole, and,
yeah,
and
like,
people
it's
think
the
he
point.
like when he died. People was like, "Oh, thank God that rapist died." Like,
Okay,
It's-
but my
it's-
point is
it-
zero
it varies
versus
depending
some.
on-
My point is zero versus some. You're making an argument, both of you guys think, that there are people out in this world who are going to say, yeah, be like Kanye. You
Yeah, I
should
think
be
there's
like
people out there.
Kanye. And I'm just
Sure.
saying, I don't believe that. But
There's
whatever.
7
We
billion
can
people on
disagree
this
about it. It's okay.
There's 7 people on this planet. There's got to be at least one person like, yeah, be like Kanye for sure.
yeah, like
Sure.
I know
Sure.
some of them. that's
They want to live their life like Kanye. They
Why
do.
not? Some people
No,
like,
they don't- they don't-
like Tyson.
that's very literal, but they aspire to kind of have like
Yeah.
a character of, I guess, fearlessness and just like the willpower that he has. Like let's say that
Yeah.
they don't want to be crazy like
No,
him.
that exact. That's
'cause
that's
I
what I'm
think, like-
saying. There's a lot of things you can pull and be like, do that like Kanye. You could do this like Kanye. You could be like that like Kanye. But no one's gonna be like Kanye. My whole point was as a whole. You can't have him as a
But
whole.
you can say that about almost anybody. No one, you can't be
No,
anybody like.
Yeah.
I just gave you examples of people who will say that wholeheartedly about people. Like you can even Martin Luther King, people will say that even though he was not faithful to his wife. They had like an
Yeah,
agreement. and
but that's part of his whole though. That's my point.
exactly, that's part of his whole, but they'll still say it. And they'll still say, yeah,
Yeah.
but they agreed. They were both honest with each other and they both understood that that was part of his life. Like they actually were open
Yes,
to communicating
okay.
about it.
I
So
guess
you're
like
accepting that a
the,
lot?
the nuance of it is like you can see like a lot of admirable traits in people, but I feel like as a whole thing is really rare and difficult. Like, 'cause when you said Kobe, I was like, yo, there's mad people that hate Kobe,
Yeah, but that wasn't
Michael
my
you know, and I
point.
love him.
There wasn't my
But Michael
point.
Jackson,
You're saying that there's mad people who's gonna say be like Kanye. That's fine. You said it. I'm telling you, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And you're like, well, give an example where you can say, like, you could be like, where people would say you can be like this guy as a whole. And then I've given you examples, and then your counter to that example is, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't agree. But that's not my point. It's about zero versus anybody. I don't believe anyone can say,
so you said Martin Luther King, so he's a cheater,
Right.
So they're accepting that as a whole.
yeah.
Okay, so then some for sure will probably say, yeah, that guy's great, he's awesome.
With Kanye, I don't think I just honestly don't think so. If you do, that's fine. I don't have to agree, guys. Like I'm not changing my mind here. Kanye is too unstable. Kanye is too unstable and like messed up to model your life and be like, yeah, man, I want to live like Kanye. Like I want to model my life like Kanye. Like
No. It's not about modeling your
But
life.
that's
It's
what I
about
was
taking
talking
characteristics
about.
you admire.
That's not what I was talking about, though. I said as a whole. As a whole. A complete. People will even say it about Will Smith. And then he got messed up later, too. People will say it about Dave Chappelle. And then there's polarizing things about Dave Chappelle, too. Anybody.
What about Jackson?
Keanu Reeves. Probably Keanu Reeves. Everyone loves that guy. Nobody hates that guy.
Yeah,
Right?
You know,
like
That's a really rare example.
as a whole, but
as a whole, yeah. Exactly. As a whole. That was my point.
so here's my point then. If maybe people would say this from your perspective, maybe they do say, yeah, I'll accept this whole because you know what? I don't care. He's an asshole.
Sure. Are you gonna
Right,
tell your
you don't-
kids? You're gonna be like, all right, kid, I want you to be an asshole, and the best asshole that I know is Kanye. So be like Kanye.
Yeah, even Flipstar said, but rape someone.
Yeah, that wasn't my point. Again,
Or-
it doesn't
that we don't
pointing
like.
out somebody who might not like a part about someone doesn't say that nobody else in the world will model themselves after him. I just, like Kanye married Kim Kardashian too.
Oh wait,
Okay.
But
That means you're making our point.
What's that?
you have to model everything. You model everything. That's impossible.
No. Oh
Like-
man.
I think you're kind of making our point.
Hey, man,
You're
it's-
saying to me that there are people in the world that will say
I could look.
you were telling me, you were trying to convince me that there are people out in the world who will take Kanye as a whole and model either their life or their kids' life after them. You're saying that people exist in the world that's what I was saying. I don't believe anyone would take Kanye as a whole and say that. I said that was my point, and I said I don't believe it. I can't think that anybody would ever say
Yeah,
your life.
but that wasn't our
Are
point.
you sure that wasn't Tom's point?
I was saying like people would recognize the flaws in him, but would still regard him as a role model in the sense that they would take good attributes that they deemed as like positive from
I
him.
said that too.
Yeah,
I said that too. I said in his ambition with his music, in the way he like pursued, like how he tried to attack fashion his own way. He wanted to do it his own way. Those are good attributes to have, and those are good models to like try and resemble. But as a whole,
that's
whole,
what makes a role model though. People don't generally take role models.
Never
and
mind. I
model
don't even
their,
know why
like-
we're still talking about it. Because like I who's trying to convince anyone of anything at this point? Like,
Hey man, you always,
I think I'm just really trying to understand the question, actually, rather than like convince
okay,
you,
so
'cause,
let's not even talk about Kanye at all. Let's just make it about the question
yeah,
then.
let's
Okay?
Okay.
My point was that I can't understand that anyone would take him as an individual. It doesn't have to be Kanye. There are other people who would be like, model your life like Gandhi. You know? Certain attributes that he might have done, whatever.
Okay,
but
okay.
people will say,
So-
live your life like the Dalai Lama, live your life like Gandhi, live your life
Okay.
like this person. But I don't think anyone would ever
what do you
say
mean by that?
no, but never when anyone would never no one would say live your life like Kanye. I don't see that happening.
Okay, no, but when they say live your life like Gandhi, what do they mean?
Yeah, but they say it. The point is they're able to say it. But you'll never hear that like Kanye. I will never hear
Yes,
that.
you do.
I don't
That's what I'm saying. You do hear that.
I don't believe it. That's my point. If you don't want to agree,
that's a different
and that's
point.
cool.
That's a different point.
Okay.
That's a different point. Because that's different from it doesn't exist. Right?
I don't believe
like,
it exists.
to your point-
I don't believe it exists. If
Okay,
it's
that's
Kanye,
different.
if
And
Kanye
that's-
is
that's-
the example,
that point is fine.
I don't believe it exists.
Then that point is fine because that's a different point.
Okay.
Now we can move on.
Yeah.
Now we
That's
can move on.
that was the only thing. Anyway. This is painful.
Okay, let's
Cringe.
move on.
All this chat going on. Yeah, Deji, you're eating the mic. I will say that too. It doesn't have to touch your lips or anything.
Okay.
That's just chat. Yeah, it was we were going around in a circle for no reason. Anyway.
If you
Okay.
have- you
I
want
think
them to be
okay,
less.
so the I don't even know how we got. My question was like, how does this fix, or is it done? Is Kanye doomed to now just not make a comeback? How can he have a comeback?
Oh, I think he'll still be just where he is.
Yeah, but like how?
Oh,
He went to
I-
Skechers. Skechers wouldn't take
this
him.
for years.
So like, he's gonna do it himself with what? He can't do it without cash. He can't do it without cash.
I mean, when he was on the MAGA thing, they didn't stop him, and then now he's on this VZ thing and the Jew thing.
Yeah.
I think it's much.
But when he was with the MAGA
So-
thing, he still had his albums, and he still had Adidas.
So you think he's gonna disappear?
Well, if he's down to $100 something million, can he push fashion with $100 something million? I don't think so. He can make another album. He can make another
I don't know.
album.
Yeah, exactly.
He can make
might
another
have a-
album, not do it with a contract, whatever whatever label.
We got a lot of content now in his life to write an album. Again, another album.
He'll just have to take time off like Will Smith. He's got like 125 million in cash. He'll be fine. No, Dede, I'm not talking about him being fine, like living the rest of his life. I'm saying his comeback. Can he come back from this? He
What's the
can.
definition of a comeback? Like,
Well, like
making more money?
become a
Or-
billionaire again. Like, can he go
Oh.
back to a billionaire status?
So,
Ooh,
let's
I
say
doubt that.
100 million. Would that be a comeback?
What's that? What's that?
It's like half $500 million. Would that be a comeback?
Well, I mean, to come back would mean like to be in the billionaires again. Like to be. And he's not gonna do it just by sitting around and not doing
No.
something. He'll have to make another album because he needs money, and in order for him to make another fashion statement, he'll need money. Like he'll need production and all all of that. Like I think fashion industry might actually cost more than music industry, right? Would you say?
Ooh,
Barrier of entry.
probably.
Barrier of entry. I think fashion industry is probably a lot more
Yeah, way
expensive
higher.
than music. So he can fund himself
Way
with
higher.
music. Yeah, he can fund himself with music, work his way up to then maybe even open his own warehouse and his sweatshops
Say,
where he makes his like.
whatever he does best, do that first, and then
Well,
venture
yeah,
out.
that's
right?
music for sure.
That's probably the best way. So,
Oh,
if
shit.
that was
It's
an album,
12:18.
would you
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Like, would you listen to it?
I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've ever bought anything of. I haven't.
I know. I listen. I don't, do anything illegal with music. But you know what I mean? Like, I bet you if he came out with some music, it would get for sure a lot of airtime, or like it'd be chatter about it for sure.
Oh,
People would be into it.
and no matter what, it's like he's like Drake in that sense. Like no matter what he throws out, people will listen to it because it's like, well,
Yeah.
Kanye brought out something new. Like we gotta hear it, and then,
Like, you never know. He might venture out into some brands you might not even think he might do.
his
Like,
music
might do
videos
things.
just won't be as high production as like maybe some of the
Yeah.
last ones in the last 10 years. But he'll make music. Who knows? Who knows? It's not gonna be gospely. Who knows what's gonna happen? But that's his. I think that's his way to come back is music.
What's his name right now? He goes by Yee.
Yay. I think he
Yay?
legally changed it to Yay.
So he might
Y-E.
have a new name. Watch. Maybe he'll start with a new name.
He'll just be Y.
Clean himself up like
The
his
letter Y.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope for the best for the guy. I don't want him to fail. I think he's everything that he's kind of built and gotten to.
Not a
to
role model.
Oh no, he's
I had to.
not a role model. He's not a role model. But I respect everything he's
Yeah.
built,
I
despite.
want you to be like Kanye, man. This guy makes music. He sells shoes. He bangs Kardashians. He lives, does
Hey man, if
fashion.
you want to tell your son that, go ahead. Like I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
I'm not gonna knock it if you want to say that, but he will be fine. Y
or
2.0.
you can, play high school football and sell women's shoes. What do you want to do? you know?
Al Bundy.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Anyone else want to say what they hope for Kanye or? And I'm not surprised Adidas is still gonna sell the shoes. If Yeezys come down
Oh, we forgot.
sub $200,
Sorry, we forgot. We forgot all about the White Lives Matter shirt. That was another thing.
White Lives Matter. He had a White Lives
Yeah,
Matter
White Lives
shirt.
Matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, you didn't know about the
yeah, he was wearing that for like a week. That was also a thing.
Yeah. See, disappeared. So he threw out the Jewish thing to throw that off.
Oh yeah, I guess that's not
So now he'll
anti-Semitism,
say
right?
something next week. Yeah, he'll say something next week. Who knows?
He'll start wearing that
definitely-
shirt again, and then everyone will forgive him or something.
Definitely ain't going anywhere. He definitely ain't going anywhere.
Okay, I was just saying if Yeezys, so Yeezys retail around $300, right? They're like anywhere between $200, $300, $400 when they come on retail. If they become half price because of this, I might consider buying some. I'm not, there's no principle that's gonna hold me from getting something discounted.
So would you tell people that those are the
No.
pre-Jews or
No,
the,
I don't have to be
or the-
pretentious about it. If anyone asks me, "Oh, was that pre-Ye drop or post-Ye drop?" I'll be like, "Oh, definitely post-Ye drop." Then there's no way I'm gonna take pride in spending more money. Buy now before it becomes Yeezy Classic. That's what I would do. Oh, Yeezy retros. No, Yeezy yet retros. They'll come out with the retros.
Yeah.
No, you know what? All you're gonna have to do at this point, all the knockoff people, all the people who make replicas, they don't have to make the whole shoe anymore. They just got to make the insoles that had the Yeezy branding on it. Those are the only ones they'll have to fake now, because then the rest of the shoe's the same. Anyway,
Oh.
anything else, guys?
No.
I feel like we beat this one.
I didn't know White Lives Matter was considered hate speech.
Well, because it's anti BLM, right?
I guess like the technical.
So if someone wore,
It's almost like all lives
Wow.
matter. All lives
if
matter,
someone
right?
wore a shirt that said Asian Lives Matter, is that hate speech too?
Ooh, that's true.
Mm.
No, because there was what was it? Hashtag what was it? Asian hate? Was it Asian hate crimes or something?
Okay.
What if a cat wore a shirt that said "All my lives matter"? Ah.
That's pretty genius. I wish. Does that exist?
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
if that
lives
exists, I
matter
gotta
shirt.
I gotta
I'm gonna look
fucking
it up right
trademark that shit
Dude, honestly,
for cats.
you know how people who love cats would buy that? You should do
Oh
that.
shit! I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna talk to my boy about this.
Patent it right now.
Video, man. Put that shit in the video. And people go, what's with that shirt? And then, boom. There.
Does that exist? Oh shit! It doesn't exist.
No, dude, I just looked it up. Nothing.
Nice.
Nothing.
Just
dude.
go. Yeah.
There's ginger.
Oh shit!
There's ginger lives matter. Unvaccinated lives matter. Unvaccinated lives matter.
I'm doing it.
There you go,
Don't steal
buddy.
my idea, you fucks.
Oh,
my God.
it's on the internet,
That's a
dude.
good
It's on the internet now. You
That's a good one, dude.
do it first.
DEFCON 3 in this chat.
Oh my.
This whole stream.
Oh, there's
That's awesome.
fat
That would
lives
actually,
matter.
that would actually probably,
Yeah.
that would actually go off on Twitter, on cat Twitter, cat Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
dude.
would- they
Just
would
make
eat that shit
a
up.
if you just make a meme of a kitten or a cat wearing one,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll go viral.
I like that.
Yeah, that'll go viral too.
Shit, son.
All my lives
Let me see
matter.
my ideas in the chats. I see you.
Drop down what you
Motherfuckers.
think of that T-shirt idea from Deji. If you like
It's a
it,
good one.
hit that like button, subscribe. And yeah, let them know if you'd buy it. If you have cats out there, would you buy it?
Fine. I'll buy it.
All
'Cause
right.
I'm just looking at my cat and I was like, oh, okay, you
Yeah.
can rock that.
The first
But
one
you
to
don't
search
think
it.
that's like offensive to you?
Nah, because that's just a good flip. Because that's like the Kobe death joke. Because it's like Kobe passing. Nah.
That's true. Kobe would never pass.
Like a good joke is supposed to take something offensive and actually make you laugh because it's a good flip.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
the whole thing about jokes, right? It's it lightening up the mood.
Okay. All right, man. I'm with it. That I support. That I will stand behind.
Yeah.
All my lives matter. I'm doing it.
Yeah, dude.
Custom right now. All right. Anyway, thanks guys for watching.
All right,
I know
yo.
that was a bit of a
I
loud
gotta
one,
go to bed.
but it was a good one. We'll see you guys hopefully next week Thursday. Peace out. Thanks for watching.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody.